Hello and welcome to our Behavior Live hybrid event tutorial. If you're watching this tutorial, it's likely because you're scheduled to present at a physical conference and you wanted to access some of the tools that are provided by the Behavior Live platform. Behavior Live is a great immersive platform for both attendees and speakers, and we have quite a bit of tools to help you get really immersed with your audience. So before you do anything, you need to make sure that you're logged into Behavior Live with the account that we would have on record. Typically, this account could be set up by the conference, or if you've presented on Behavior Live before, you may already have an account. If you just head to our homepage, behaviorlive.com, you're going to want to log in or sign up with that email address. Once you're logged in, finding the event that you're scheduled to present at is pretty easy. You're just going to click your name in the upper right-hand corner here, and you're going to click My Live Presentations. Now, if you've ever presented on Behavior Live before, typically you just go to Actions, enter Live Dashboard, and that's how you would present. Now, that dashboard is for virtual events. So if you're sharing your webcam, sharing your slides, that's how you would access this. In this case, because this is a hybrid event and you're going to be presenting on stage at a conference, you're going to want to come to Sidecar. And Sidecar is a set of tools that you can have up with you while you're presenting. So you can see once I click that, I'm brought up with this nice dashboard. And this dashboard is really geared it's a web dashboard, and it's really geared towards wider screen devices. So a lot of presenters use this on their iPads at the front of the room, or you can also load this up on an iPad, laptop screen. So if you're part of a panel, you or one of your panelists could be sitting at the table having your laptop open and participating with the audience in the talk as well. We also have a mobile phone app, which I'm going to show you after the fact. So if you want something small that you can quickly reference while you're presenting, you can use our mobile phone app as well. Now, one thing I want to point out is part of the benefit of Behavior Live platform is not only people online can participate in the live event, but people in the room can as well. So basically, as soon as somebody scans their QR code in the room, the Behavior Live app will ask them if they want to join the event in the room. And when they do that, they can access all these tools as well: the chat, the polls, the questions, handouts, anything that you've added to this talk. So it's a really great benefit for the attendees. All right, so let's look at this dashboard a little bit. So once you're logged in and you're on the dashboard, you can see it's divided into three main sections. So on the left, we have the questions area. On the middle, we have people, and we'll have a couple other tools that you can show where the people are as well. And then on the right-hand side is the chat. Now, this whole dashboard can be reconfigured any way that you need. So for instance, if you're presenting by yourself and you don't want to see the chat, you can just unselect the chat down here, and you can see now the chat is gone, and you can see just questions and people. If you only are interested in questions per se, you could hide people, and now you can just see the questions real big. And again, this is great on the iPad. If you load this up on an iPad, have it next to you on the podium, you can see any questions that come in. And we'll go through the questions module here in detail in just a moment. All right, so I'm gonna bring all my tools back. So there's four main tools that you have here. You have the chat, you have people, questions, polls, and handouts. Sorry, I guess that was five. This allows you to cycle through all those tools. We'll start simple with handouts. So if there's any handouts that you want to let your attendees have access to, you can upload those ahead of time or during your presentation. All you do is click the handouts tab here, select files, and you can find a file that you want to upload. In this case, I'm uploading a PDF, and it uploads, and everybody who's in the talk has access to those materials. They can also get those in the recorded version if this event is recorded. If you made a mistake or you want to delete the handout, you can simply press delete, and it will get deleted. Next, we're going to look at people. So this just shows everybody who's currently logged into your event and where they're from. It's really cool demographic information. You can see where people are coming from. And if you're curious if a particular person is in an event, you can search them by name. So if I type Wade here, you can see it filters out to just Wade. All right, the next tool that I'm going to show you is polls. So if you've ever presented on Behavior Live before, we've always had polls, and these are the same polls from an attendee's perspective, but you can access those polls from this presenter dashboard here. So you can set all your polls up ahead of time, and then you can make them visible and hidden during your talk. So basically, you click here, click Create a Poll, and you can create as many polls as you want. You give it a question and your answers, and then it will show in this list. Now during your talk, a moderator, yourself, or a co-presenter can simply make this visible, and it will show on the user's screens, and they can start scoring their data. And the data, as you can see on the charts here, the data comes in real time. All right, next we're going to talk about questions. So again, if you've ever used Behavior Live before, there's a nice questions module. Users and attendees can ask questions, and those questions can be voted on. So questions with the most votes float to the top of the list, which can be really great because if you only have a few minutes at the end of the talk to answer questions, you want to make sure that you're answering questions that is of broad appeal to the largest audience base that you have. So you can see I've got some questions here. If you want to mark a question as answered, if you've answered it verbally and you want to clear it off the list, you click mark as answered and it clears it off the list. You can come over here to the answered tab if you did that on accident and reopen the question. So that's how the questions module works. And then finally we have the chat, and the chat is always visible on the right hand side. Again, you can type any messages you want. If you want to participate, a co-presenter wants to participate, or a panelist wants to participate, you can do that with the chat. If you're presenting by yourself, the chat can fly by. It can be kind of distracting. So again, if you want to hide the chat, you can just click the chat button here and hide it. If you want to bring it back, just bring it back. The chat really is ideal for situations where you have co-presenters, discussants, chairs, anybody else who can sort of keep an eye on things while the event is going on. All right, so those are the main features of the presenter tools for Behavior Live for a hybrid event. In just a second, I'm going to jump over to our mobile app and show you how you can access some of these same tools from our mobile apps for quick and easy and sort of more discrete reference throughout your talk. All right, as promised, we are going to jump over to the mobile app here. And similarly to the web, you just need to make sure you're logged into the mobile app with the user account that the event would be tied to. So typically that would be set up by the conference organization, or if you've presented on Behavior Live before, you likely already have an account. So once you log in, you're brought right to the Events tab. This particular Events tab is really for the attendees. This is where attendees would access their events both live and in the room. So to access the presenter tools, the same presenter tools we just showed on the web, you're going to click Account in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And then from there, in the list, you should see Presenter Tools. And when we go into Presenter Tools, you're going to see your events listed there. And same deal, you can just go into your particular events, and it's all laid out for you. So here we don't have quite the robust feature set that the web does, but it's still pretty handy if you are just want to keep this discreetly on stage next to you, or you want to check it throughout the talk. So again, first tab here is the chat, and you can type in the chat. You can tap back on particular messages if you want. The second tab down here is questions. This is the same questions module, so you can see all the questions here. You can upvote questions, mark them as answered. Answered questions get filtered out. You can reopen them, mark them as answered. And then down here at the bottom, we have polls. You can't create polls within the app, but if you set your polls up ahead of time in the web on the web side of things, then you can just come and make your polls visible during your talk. You just pull your phone out real quick, and you can toggle the polls visible, and they will show on the user's screen. So much more simple, but the tools are still pretty handy. Obviously, the chat and the questions are the most interactive part of a talk. So if you want to reference that while you're presenting, you can do that. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to email support@behaviorlive.com at any time. We're always here to help, and likely one member of our team will be at whatever conference you're presenting at, so we look forward to working with you.